Twitter as well. And so feel free to do so. Good morning and wake up DFW. Thank you for waking up with us this morning. We have a very fun Friday the 13th show for you in store. I mean, we have got great things happening in business. We're going to talk about kids and what crazy things they have said. And then we're going to talk about the big superstition, oh, you better not step outside your door, Friday the 13th.
Oh, no. Black cats, ladders, walking under them, all that kind of good stuff.
All the good stuff. Well, I see that you have dressed festively for the day. You have your black shirt on, Dr. B. I mean, is this doom and gloom Friday?
No, it's not doom and gloom. It's just protection, so there's no doom or gloom, right?
So this is your opportunity to try and help feed the superstition so it'll leave you alone. Is that what you're saying?
It's just too much fun, the various trivia that's out there and all the stories about things that happen on Friday the 13th. I think Friday the 13th is a great day myself.
Oh, I do too. I'll tell you, it's exciting. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. But here at the beginning of the show, on Fridays, we like to talk about fun things that have happened in the news. Last week, I drew a lot of attention, interestingly enough, with the Trigger story. I don't know if you remember last week or not, but a owner was out hunting, duck hunting, and she sat her shotgun down, didn't put the safety on it, and her dog Trigger stepped on the trigger and shot her in the foot. And that seemed to draw a lot of attention. I actually had a lot of comments come back in that maybe Trigger knew something that she didn't, and maybe she should feed him a little bit better instead of that cheap dog food, go with the better stuff. So we have fun in the news to start off. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the darndest and funniest things that kids have said. We've had a lot of people send in emails and Facebook messages, and we're going to read those off. But we'd also like to hear from you. Call in at 214-787-1160.
Again, remember that's 214-787-1160.
So call in anytime during the show. We'd love to hear what you have to say about some of the darndest and funniest things that kids have said. Well, let's talk about deals that have gone bad in business. Last week, Dr. B, we talked about Excite missing out on the excitement of Google. I don't know if all of our listeners remember or not, but Excite had the opportunity to purchase Google for $750,000. And instead of purchasing it, they decided not to because they didn't want to have to change their search engine to Google. Now, go figure. Now everything is Googled, and I don't remember anything being excited anymore.
Not very much. In fact, even as we speak, I was Googling. So
you weren't exciting?
I wasn't exciting. It was Googling.
Yeah,
so
they said that the stock is now, or the price of the company is now 173 billion times more than what their purchase price would have been if Excite would have bought it for $750,000. But because somebody didn't like the word Google, guess what? It didn't happen.
And what is Excite's price for their stock right now?
Yeah,
it probably isn't.
Yeah, I think they've been forgotten for the most part. So we talked about that, and then we talked about, and I couldn't believe this one, and that's why I was excited about sharing it. But Polaroid had decided. Polaroid actually is the one that came up with the technology for the digital camera in 1977. And they decided that they didn't want to hurt their hard film business, and so
Polaroid or Kodak?
Well, it was Kodak. I'm sorry, it was Kodak. Yeah, Kodak had come up with the first digital camera in 1977, and then decided, you know what? We have filed the patent. We're going to put it on the shelf, and we're not going to do it because we don't want to hurt our film part. And so they didn't do it. And guess what? They have paid for that 150 billion times over, because they didn't come out with a digital camera and cornered the market, and now film is almost a thing of the past. What I think is funny, what I don't think they considered, is that the SLR and the digital professional 35 millimeter would ever leave film and it would go digital. And boy, it really has gone digital.
It's taken off for sure. In fact, I don't even know. I may have some old undeveloped rolls somewhere in a drawer of a Kodak, but I can't remember the last time I took film to get it processed. Can you?
No, I can't. In fact, what's funny about it is it's now, I think I've heard them use the term at weddings when I go to perform them, when they have the little box camera. Oh, how vintage. How cute is this? And so, it's kind of exciting that it's vintage.
Vintage camera here, so.
Yeah, the box camera is vintage. I remember when that came out, and that was all the rave. I mean, oh my gosh, you could take a a box camera and then just turn it in and they'll process it for you. Yeah, not anymore. Now everybody has their own little thumb drive or zip drive. They put it in their camera, download it. They've got all their pictures. They start over again. So pretty exciting. Well, today, Dr. B, we talked about the number one business goof, which was Excite. We talked about the number 3 business goof, which was Kodak. The number 2 business goof. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Daimler-Benz lost $20 billion on Chrysler.
$20 billion?
$20 billion. You know, you and I don't even know what those zeros look like.
What, how many zeros is that?
That's a lot of zeros. Chrysler has always been one of the big 3 automakers in the U.S. It had trouble establishing an international presence, so Mercedes saw an opportunity and merged with Chrysler at a cost of $30.7 billion in 1998. It didn't work out as they planned. It was theoretically going to be a 50-50 split. Chrysler sales made up less than a third of revenue for the merged company in 2006. In the end, Daimler-Benz decided it was better off without Chrysler and sold 80% of its stake in 2007 for $7.4 billion. The unhappy trip down merger lane cost Benz over $20 billion.
$20 billion.
Yeah.
So when you go to buy that next Mercedes, it may be a little higher to make up the profit,
Yeah,
right?
I would think so. Something had to go up, that's for sure. You know, the other one is the number 4 business goof, and I love covering these. I can't wait till next week when I get to number 5 and number 6. People are going to be blown away by some of these business blunders. The News Corps has a Myspace meltdown. You remember Myspace even?
Yes, I
You
do.
do?
I was trying to think about it. MySpace, yes, I remember.
Bill,
vaguely.
do you remember MySpace?
Yes.
You do remember MySpace. So anybody over the age of probably 35, I would say, probably remembers MySpace. That sound about right to you, Bill? Yeah, Bill says that sounds about right. Dr. B, what do you think?
I think maybe.
Yeah, Katarina, my daughter doesn't have a clue what MySpace is. You know, it's the Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Tumblr, and who else knows what's going on out there in social media land, but it has definitely taken over. In a world dominated by social media, it strains that MySpace, one of the granddaddies of all social medias, is hardly on the radar. To just say that it got beat by Facebook is oversimplifying the issue, since many platforms currently coexist with Facebook while MySpace was still on the rise. In 2005, News Corp bought it, paying $580 million for the social media site. But News Corp managed it badly. The first few years were good, and the value of MySpace was estimated at $12 billion in 2008. 3 years later, MySpace declined dramatically. It failed to adapt and change with the times, and people passed it up for other social network experiences. In 2011, are you ready for this, Dr. B?
2011.
News Corp sold MySpace for $35 million.
Woof, 35 million.
Yeah.
I just need a couple
million.
of those. Million, that is.
Yeah, they paid $580 million for it, and they lost over $545 million.
That's amazing.
And just think,
Amazing.
it was valued at $12 billion in 2008. How do you do that?
I don't know. I've never thought about that, never thought about how to make that much money or lose that much money that quickly. So.
Well, they have for sure. So, folks, that's some of the business blunders out there where folks had some opportunities to take advantage of some great business opportunities and they decided not to for whatever reason. Like, for example, I just don't like the word Google, so I don't think it's going to take off.
So you wonder about who were they consulting with, and was this just somebody who had it in their mind that they were in control? And boy, you know, I don't like Google. I'm not going to use that term ever. I don't care what the market says. This is what I'm going to do.
Well, you know what's even funnier is that some guys sit back and go, Google, that's something my kid does on his shirt. We're not calling the search engine Google. You know, because now it's everything is Google. Google Plus, Google Drive, Google Calendar, Google. I mean, you name it, we can Google it.
We can Google it, and boy, am I thankful for it. You know, I use Google Maps. What am I doing? Advertising for Google here?
I think so.
But,
we're going to contact Google and say, hey, you know what? I think you owe us a little something there.
But it has become the go-to search engine for most of us anyway. I know when I'm looking for something, whether it's serious research or whether it's for fun, Google is my go-to search engine. In fact, sometimes I get a little irritated when other search engines kind of interfere some way, and I go back to Google and say, this is what I need, get me to it, and get me to it quickly.
Well, when we come back, we're going to highlight some of the crazy, funny news stories out there and begin our quest to hear your stories about some of the darndest, funniest things that kids have said. I will start off the next segment with mine, and we'll also hear our inspirational thought for the day. It's always nice to have 60 seconds of inspiration. So stay tuned. You're with On Point with JP and Dr. B. What's that, Bill? Did you say something? Oh, clear. So what do you think, Dr. B?
Good so far. I think that.
On Point is what? I don't care. Just pick one. Yeah. Well, Dr. B?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Those were some business blunders.
Those are funny.
I mean, good night. You know, the guy for Excite is, I mean, whoever did that is got to be kicking himself, you know it?
Yeah. He's down at the soup kitchen, probably.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
I was looking for more strange news on funny news headlines from BBC. That should be good. Good thing that came out.
All right. So we'll come back and we'll do a few minutes of news and then we'll go into kids. Hopefully people will call in. Let's see.
So what are we coming back with? The news, funny news?
Yeah, funny news, and then we're going straight to what you call it. Share now, public. Let's see, 16. I mean, people are listening to us because I've got a lot of people that tell me they're listening, and they like to recite the show. I guess people just don't like to call in, I guess.
Yeah. As I put out yesterday to several people, things kids have said, you know, or the kids have said. And what I got back was a lot of them said, well, use this, don't use my name, I don't want to call in, but so.
Make sure you post, comment. Check it out. We're all turned in over here in Liberty Hill, Texas. That's excellent. Well, Daniel's up. People are up because they're saying my kids say the darndest things. Well, what did they say? You know? Don't just tell me they say the darndest things. What do they say? Got to get myself a good thermos. Evidently, I've got a thermos that doesn't seal real good. I need to bring you a cup, Dr. B, so you can have some coffee.
Yeah, I've got a.
World on a string, not a rainbow. Well, good morning, Dallas, Fort Worth, and thank you for waking up with good old Blue Eyes and JP and Dr. B. Good morning, Dr. B.
Good morning, JP, and welcome to Friday the 13th. What a